Welcome back, family, to the Royal Minds podcast. Once again, it's your host, Mr.Royal Minds, Darrell Willis. And today I got an extraordinary guest with me. I got Mr. CJ.
What's going on, guys? What's up?
Man, listen to me. This guy right here, me and him kind of started our real estate journey almost together. But the thing is, he went and took it like to the whole next level. So I just got to bring him on so he can go ahead and talk about that, man.
I appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. I don't know about the whole next level, but we're still in it, trying to do our thing. So yeah, man, I found a lane. So I'm just staying in it right now. But
man, well, go ahead and tell the people about yourself a little bit.
So like you said, my name is CJ. I specialize in short-term rentals and corporate housing. It's an aspect of real estate investing in a sense where we basically find properties. We use a method called rental arbitrage. And what that means is that we basically find a property, rent it out, and we furnish it and then list it on like Air BNB, VRBO, or we got a couple relationships with a couple brands in Detroit. And that basically just means when they have corporate clients or engineers, nursing field, all types of industries that have people who come in town for whatever, extended amount of time. And they basically come and we just house them, while they're in town. So we've built a connection with those, suppliers and just networking and getting units. And we found a need for that. So it's kind of what we've been doing. That's what I do. So, yeah.
Man, listen to me. To a degree, I think my man's he being very modest right now, y'all. So we're going to have to go ahead and break that down so we can get a little bit deeper into this.
Let's do it, man.
But so the one question that I have for you is, like I said, we kind of started our journey together and everything. But what made you kind of like pivot and look at real estate from a whole different perspective?
Man, I would say, and those of you who don't know, I started with wholesaling, that. So it's wholesaling is a grind, man, to say the least. Wholesaling is a grind. It's a lot of cold calling, a lot of, denial, a lot of, ground and pound. But through that, man, I probably did like 2 deals. But through that, I was trying to network and go to meetups and try to meet other people in the industry, kind of, connect with people, build relationships. So through that, though, that's when I met my partner.
Yeah.
And once we were kind of going to more meetups, this is after we met originally, going to more meetups, and then a real estate group in Detroit called Michigan RIA.
Yeah.
They had a seminar for short-term rentals, kind of explaining the industry, selling courses for it, how that goes, selling courses. But that was the first time we, caught wind of it. And once we did, we were like, yo, this is dope. This is something that is very doable, not easy, but it just seemed very, within our capabilities. So at that point, we just teamed up with a group of guys that were at the meetup, and through that, they funded them. They were like the investors for it, so they fronted the money, and that's kind of how we got started. Got I think 2 units with them. Started doing that, and kind of had a difference in views and visions for where we wanted the company to go, and kind of how we wanted to navigate. So we were like, let's me and my partner, we came and we just said, let's start our own, and let's just, lead this group, do it how we want to, because we just felt real restricted with them, because like they just had a limited kind of mindset as far as where things could go, how big it can get. And we were seeing like all these other people with like 20 properties, 100 properties, thousands of properties. It's like, yo, let's shoot for that, where we can really create like, some generational wealth. And they're like, yeah, let's do like 1 a year, 2 a year. And it's like,
oh, no.
And you got to think, man, at the time, I wasn't working. I mean, I still don't work a job, 9 to 5. So it's like, we needed to work a little, faster than that. We got something to really work for. So it's like, man, I don't know if this is going to work. So that's kind of what made us, part ways. But ever since, man, we now have 12 properties in Detroit. And we've been going strong for about 2.5 years now. So
yeah,
got plans for some big growth, soon. So yeah, that's kind of what made me go in that direction. Just kind of the course of the way things happen. It kind of fell into it, just staying, I guess, in the conversation of real estate. I was going to the meetups and just happened to fall into that industry, end up falling into meeting my business partner. And it's been a great experience so far. So
Yeah.
And I love the business too. So, I mean, that helps. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
So I was going to say, well, having an innovative mindset and not only an innovative mindset, but having like a growth mindset.
Absolutely.
And just seeing like all the possibilities. Expound on that, because I think a lot of people allow themselves to become limited because of their environment or the places that they've seen.
Absolutely. For me, man, my story was a little weird. I graduated from high school, and then my plan was to go to community college for a couple of years, try to play baseball, and just, you know, see where life kind of took me or whatever. I was doing photography heavy at that time, so my real view was like, you know, I'm gonna go to school for photography. You know, hopefully I play minor league baseball or something like that, because I love baseball. But then at that point, I got bit by the real estate bug. I just happened to, because, you know, it's like everybody else. You know, they see the HGTV shows and the flipping, and they see how much money they make, and I'm like, I want to do that.
I want to be there too.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
So I started looking up YouTube videos, man, and that's when I found out about wholesaling.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, so for this, I need to really kind of get outside my comfort zone, because I didn't know anything about real estate. I didn't have my license then. I didn't know anybody doing real estate. So it's like, all right, so if I have this as a goal or something that I'm interested in, I need to, for one, get around some people that, you know something about it, you know, to at least get me in the conversation, kind of get the juices flowing.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, that was the first time I really had to like get out my comfort zone, you know, do something that I wasn't already doing. And that for me, it kind of sparked a lot. It sparked a bigger change as far as a lifestyle change of just, like I said, getting outside my comfort zone, trying to push myself to do things to take me to different places. I think a lot of times we think within, like, because we all have a programming, right, from our childhood, from our parents. And sometimes we don't know that that's not the only way of thinking, or the only possibilities are the ones that, for one, that our family had, or the people that we looked up to. That's not the only way. That's not the only thing. That's not the only option out there. So I just think it's exposure. We got to be intentional about exposing ourselves to new things, constantly looking and learning. And I think within that, you start to see other possibilities, and kind of naturally, you know, human minds, they wander, right? They're curious. So once you are sparked to something, you start looking into it, and then it's just like a rabbit hole effect. So
yeah,
we just got to really push ourselves out our comfort zone, you know, put ourselves in different rooms, I think. And through that, man, you start to just, it's like a chain effect. You just keep going.
Man, see, what you just explained for me was the way that I broke away from traditionalism.
Okay.
See, for myself, what it was I thought everything was supposed to be cookie cutter.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then once I actually started, like you said, once I took the initiative and I was like, man, real estate is that thing. Like, I'm gonna have to slide over here and just check it out real quick.
Yeah, see what it's about.
When I did that, and I started to see the people I could meet and the environments I could be put in, I'm like, hold on, this is, you know, this is a little bit different. Like, this ain't as cookie cutter as you think it may be.
Right.
So I'm like, man, this is something you gotta kind of grow into.
Yeah.
Like you said, you gotta feel the shoes of those growing pains to a degree.
Exactly. Yep. Because I feel like for me too, man, that's like one thing that my mentor / business partner has showed me is like, a lot of times the things in the world that we look at, man, aren't what they are for what we see. It's not always what it looks like at the surface level. Things are, a lot of times, they're opposite or backwards. People tell you to go to school for, you know, and this is not to, you know, step on schools, trash schools, because I feel like, you know, it has its place for certain people. But for me, where I wanted to go, I didn't have an interest in like being a doctor or an engineer. So it's like, for me, school, like I said, it was photography. I was going for photography. I didn't have to go to school to be successful in photography. So it's like, man, it's another way. So it's like, all right, so if I want to do real estate, then I got to go against the traditionalism of school, right?
Yeah.
All right, so that's the opposite. But then at the same time, it's just like, it's the opposite for a lot, bro. I'm trying to think of some more examples, but long story short, man, a lot of the things that you look at is, if you look at the opposite of what people are doing, a lot of times that's what people should be doing. Like a lot of times we hear in like investing, right? When the market is down, we buy. When the market is up, we hold off, we sell.
Yeah.
It's the opposite. So we got to really know that, just be open to looking at the opposite of everything, and at the very least, just to see what the other potential, outcome could be.
So with you having an open mindset, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think that made you the entrepreneur that you are today?
Man, I think so, bro. I honestly think, because I wouldn't be able to, if I was so closed-minded to where I wasn't open to any other understandings of anything, I wouldn't have been able to look into certain things that I'm into now, or be open to like meeting new people, because I would be stuck hanging with the same people. What would I need new friends for? What do I need a new network for? I would be so closed off to the possibility of anything else that I would basically, block any other good thing from coming, or anything else that I'm interested in. I wouldn't find that out. So I think we always got to be open-minded to a certain extent, not to the point where we fall for anything, but to a point where you're open to the possibility of something else.
Yeah. So with that, I just want to say, what he telling y'all is not to be gullible, but be open-minded. Be open to new things, man.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what it is, right?
Absolutely.
So even with that, my next question for you is, like, with the business, how far do you look to a degree, expand with the innovation mindset that you guys have, and the open mindset that you have? How far do you see you carrying your business?
So, man, for one, once we started the real kind of like lifestyle, because I've heard a lot of people say that like you shouldn't, as far as like getting into investing and stuff like that. A lot of people, it can go both ways. Some say don't change your lifestyle in the sense of, hey, don't cheap out, just find a way to hustle for it, right? And to make that way. Or some say, hold out, wait until you can afford it, build your income, da 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 da. But we knew as a lifestyle, we wanted to travel, right? We wanted to go all across the world and stuff like that. So it was like, let's do that with our business. Let's make sure we have places in England and Dubai and the US or California where at any time we can just go. So our number one goal is to be international, just be everywhere. So to the point, like I said, where we have places in like every country damn near. So at that point, like, all right, well, we know we want to be everywhere. And then we just want to make sure that, for one, we have enough money that we can look out for our families. And that we have our needs and wants met, and that also we can, have enough to invest in other ventures.
Yeah.
So we're like maybe 1,000 units. At that point, it's either we're good or we can continue to grow. But I think for right now, in a very long scale of things, it's about 1,000 units for right now. But yeah.
Man, I already can tell that it's gonna go past 1,000.
I appreciate it, bro. I hope so, man. Like I said, at that point, man, and I feel like, too, this is kind of off topic and kind of off conversation, but I feel like we have multiple purposes. I think people, we go through life thinking that we may have one purpose, and that once that purpose is fulfilled, or once our life is dedicated to that, then there's nothing else. But I feel like we have multiple purposes. So this one, I feel like this is my purpose for right now, is to, build this business and make it as big as it can be. And like I said, make sure that it can provide for my family, at least for the next few years, or this can take care of their needs, basically. So whatever is after that, man, like I said, I'm open-minded to, new experiences, discovering new things. So whatever my purpose is after that, you'll have the same attention that my business does now. But right now, it's modern day stay. It's our corporate housing business. But yeah, I feel like, we have to be open still to new other things. Because also, that's like I told you, I have a podcast too, and I did it for one to reach out to people like me, like how we were talking before the podcast. Is you don't know a lot of people when you're getting into this stuff, man. You it's like you don't have that group of people around you to talk to, bounce ideas off of. So I wanted to be able to be a voice of, hey, here's some things to help you improve yourself, to get to where you're trying to go, and also to let you know you're not the only person who went through these same growing pains of, becoming an entrepreneur or whatever it is. Because you can work a job and still have a business, but you're still going to have you have a different mindset, and you have to know that it's okay to think differently. And so that's what the podcast is for, to kind of reach people. So I feel like that's going to be my next purpose, because that's something I'm really passionate about, is helping others and kind of just opening the minds of people. So yeah.
So even with that, with you having a passion and a purpose just to, like you said, help everybody. And it's not to help everybody,
right,
but to help the people that need you.
And that want it, and that's willing to take it.
Yep. Yeah. So with that, the way, let me see, I said, the way that I'm seeing it is, you, to a degree, you just want to be a developer here with the time that you got.
Absolutely, bro.
So
absolutely, man.
To a degree, I just want you to expound on that, because you already did open the door. So I'm like, man, go ahead and talk about it.
Yeah, man. So I guess for me, I realize as humans, man, and just spirits, we have a impact on each other, right?
Yeah.
Where this podcast here, you're impacting people by giving, for one, people like me a voice to be able to share with them, like you said, different mindsets, maybe to improve their mindsets. I feel like, so I feel like as a whole, we have to impact as much people as best as we can while we're here. So for some, that looks different, totally different for us. Some may be working at a factory to where they're the building block for other people to be able to, do theirs, but that's still impact. They're still impacting people, because without them, who's going to run these machines, or who's going to do this? I feel like we all have a purpose. We all have a position, and we just have to, for one, the only obligation I feel like we have in life, man, is to really become the best version of ourselves.
That's a fact.
I feel like that's the only thing that anybody has to accomplish while we're here, is to just grow, continuously be, try to be better, and just impact while we're here. So for me, that's what my impact looks like right now. Like I said, it's the short-term rentals and the podcast. So I'm just trying to reach as many people, change minds, so that, for one, people know it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to be different. Yeah. And go against the grain sometimes. So
man, that is fire.
That's what I'm trying to do here. At least while I'm here. Like I said, whatever that looks like later on down the line, whether it's a podcast, another business, coaching, whatever, I just want to still be giving that same overall message, though.
Yeah. So another question that I kind of wanted to ask you, when you were speaking, it's like you said, you just want to help people, and you just want to keep adding.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you do that to a degree without, like, your ego being in the place?
Man, that's hard. Because a lot of times, we're human, right? We all have these regular feelings, and we got to catch ourselves too. But we run into it where you working on yourself, and then you may run into, some dude on the highway who's trying to cut you off, and you feel like, you know what, he's having a bad day, and you can almost get to the point where you feel sorry, and you're like, well, at least I'm not like that. But you can't really even look at it like that. Like for me, I try to look at it with empathy versus, well, at least I'm not like that, or I'm lucky I'm not like that. Well, it's like, look at them for a hurt. Like, you gotta look at people like kids, man. You gotta look at them like kids, where it's like, they're just hurt. Yeah. Something that is causing them to be that way. And it's like, they don't even know it. So it's like, I feel bad that you don't even realize, that it's something that you got to deal with in order for you, to be at peace. Because somebody cut you off on the highway, that's just them trying to get over on you because they don't have anywhere else in their life where they're winning, or they're just not satisfied. So it's like, you have to check yourself. For me, not letting my ego get in the way, man. I try to meditate as much as possible, because I feel like for me, that brings me to a very calm place overall, like throughout the day, especially, during it. But it helps me overall throughout my day, stay calm, stay centered, not be as judgmental, and just kind of remain at peace, I guess.
Yeah. So with that, do you think that helps? Does that make the lifestyle of being an entrepreneur easy?
It doesn't make it easy, but it simplifies it for sure. It simplifies it. It makes it a lot more bearable.
Gotcha.
Like and I'm human. Like, I mess up, bro. I have a routine where I get up in the morning. Ideally, when I do it, my idea is I wake up, I work out first thing, and then as soon as I get back from the gym, I read. I meditate. Then I write in my journal. I journal for about 5 minutes or so, just until I really done writing. Then I do 5 things I'm grateful for, so showing gratitude. And then after that, I will read for about 30 minutes, or at least a chapter. And then at that point, I start my day. So all those things, though, are very intentional. the gratitude that helps you also not be judgmental, or when things go crazy or wrong, you don't look at it as like, well, why is this happening to me? Because you're so grateful for the opportunity that you have of, everything that's around you, that you don't look at things for you're missing out. It's like, you know what? I'm grateful for what I got. But not to the point where you're content in a place, but you're not looking at life as, well, what can you give me, or what can I get from life? It's like, well, what can I give? What can I offer people? How can I help? How can I, again, impact? So that ideally, that routine in itself helps me be less, not so much in my ego, and not let it get in my way all the time. So, but I mean, like I said, we all human. We run into it sometimes where we in our heads and we're like, well, who do they think they are? Do they know like who I am? You know what I'm saying? So, but again, we got to catch ourselves and kind of, realize, people, we make mistakes. We got to just, like I said, look at it with empathy, have grace for ourselves. Sometimes, we're going to mess up, but give ourselves grace because we're not perfect. So, we got to just, try to do our best, man. Simply put. So.
Oh yeah, I understand this. Pretty much give people the same peace, or not even peace, the same, let me see how to say it, the same patience.
Yeah.
The same patience that you want them to use with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even with that, that's like one of my key components in being an entrepreneur is give yourself the patience to grow and become the better version of yourself.
Yeah.
Like every day that you get up, you don't have to be perfect.
No, because it's impossible, right? You're expecting, you're setting yourself up for failure. It's like you say that, okay, well, I'm bad because I didn't do this today, or I didn't work out today. Like, and nah, you just had a bad day. Start again tomorrow. You can start over. It's not over. You just have to, give yourself grace. Okay, I didn't do what I was supposed to. Slap on the wrist. Let's keep it pushing though. Let's not ponder on it. That was yesterday. Let's try again tomorrow morning though.
Yeah. So even in the entrepreneurial space, which in business, modern day stay, is that like let me see, I said an element that you guys had to implement with designing the buildings and everything the way that you guys do, and furnishing them the way that you guys do?
I would say patience was definitely an element. When we were with our original group, before me and my business partner kind of separated and did our own thing, bro, that was definitely an element, bro. Because like I said, it was always like a clash of ideas and mindset. Just like they were so like traditional, slow down, let's take our time, and not in the sense where we're overlooking things, because we're very thorough in our business. Like if you look at our business compared to a lot at our size, we're ahead of the game as far as how we brand ourselves, how we incorporate our business, how we treat our customers. We are very intentional about that. So it's not the fact that we're rushing, but it was just unnecessary slowness. So it was like, let's speed this thing up. But that was definitely, a patience. That was definitely an element, not just because, from the furniture to the, like I said, the vision of the company, it was always a compromise or always a conflict. So we had to show a lot of patience. But now when we separated and kind of did our own thing, we thought so much alike and we were on the same page about a lot of things. So for us, it was really effortless, like as far as when it comes to like designing the places, because we were always on the same page about everything. We got a similar way of design. As far as the business decisions, we both pretty much, he's more experienced. Like I said, he's my mentor. So in that aspect, it's not really a conflict because I'm just, taking the back seat and kind of just learning from him as far as the business stuff. But everything else, man, when we have to collaborate, it's really like real easy.
Yeah.
Real easy. That's why I think it's important when you do have a partner that you kind of got to vet each other. You got to make sure, it's a good mix. And, it's going to be partnerships too where y'all don't really get along that much, or not that, but it's conflicting ideas. But that's also healthy too, because it's a collaboration. The two ideas maybe create something even better than the both ideas. So when we do collaborate, though, it's never really, too much conflict. It's like I said, we had to practice patience a lot before, but now it's like, as far as me and him working together, we work very well together. Yeah. So it makes everything else pretty much simple.
I got you. So one thing that you said earlier was, to a degree, with the rest of the team, previous team, I would say, that they had like a cautious mindset.
Extremely cautious.
Like in the realm of entrepreneurship, like explain to the people like how that can like you said, slow down like your progression and your growth. Like it's cool to give yourself patience. That's why I had you go there.
Yeah.
But then like to a certain degree, it's the difference between patience and being like a turtle, if that makes sense.
No, that's a great point. That's a very great point. Just because that's a great question, man. It's a great question. In entrepreneurship, man, you got to take a risk. It's calculated risk and very, like I said, very calculated risk. But that's, again, it's the opposite, right, of traditionalism. It's like, well, take your time. Don't take any big risk. Do the safe route, but safe route gets safe results. Safe route isn't going to have you living like you want to. It gives the illusion that you are, because for one, you might get a high paying job, or, you just might get real comfortable. But are you happy that you're working 90 hours, 100 hours a week?
Man.
You know what I'm saying? You're making great money, but at what cost though, right? So it's like, with it, you got to have, in entrepreneurship, you take a risk. That's simply put, you take a risk. So, dang, what was your, I'm trying to get back to what your original question was. You said, how important is risk, or how important is that in entrepreneurship, right?
Yeah, like what's the difference between the cautionary, like basically being overcautious?
Yeah. It just slows things down, just because, like, again, it's a risk. Like a lot of things that we do, a lot of decisions that we make in our business, it may seem like scary to the average person, but it's like for us, that's everyday decisions making. Like, and even from the viewpoint of what our vision is as far as where we want to go, like the 1,000 units. If I go outside and tell somebody else that, it's like, all right, whatever. But for us, it's very much real, just because, for one, we got a belief system in ourselves that's, through the roof. And also we just know our capabilities. So you just gotta, for one, I just feel like you have to be your own boss.
Yeah.
You gotta realize that it's the opposite of a lot of stuff. So
yeah, like one thing that I think you was finna get ready to hit on is you gotta bet it all on you.
You got to, bro. You got to. The self-belief is huge.
Yeah, because the way that I see it is, if you don't bet it on you, you're not going to touch a bag.
No.
Like, I don't care what you say or how you feel. You can tell yourself every single day that, like, people say, like, I'm going to be a millionaire by 40 and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
But if you're not willing to, it's like you said, make those changes, be innovative and grow, you're going to stay stagnant in the same exact place.
Because it's risking the growth, right? Where you got to look outside of, again, your normal things. For anything to grow, it has to be a change. And change is never easy. Change is never comfortable. And that in itself feels like a risk a lot of the time. So it's like, even for me in a routine, I just share, like, that's a quote unquote risk, because I'm waking up at 6 a.m. versus 8 and getting started. It's a risk because I might be tired later on in the day, but at least I can get my mind and body in the right space for where I can perform my best throughout the day. But I mean, it's a risk. But again, you gotta take risks to get the results that you want, though, a lot of the time. So,
man, see that right there? That's fire.
Yeah, man.
Listen, the reason I'm so excited right now is because, like, literally, like you said, when we had our conversation off camera, like, people don't understand that conversation. Like, when you want to go past, like you said, the traditionalism, the cautiousness, and you want to become integrative and have that different mindset, people don't be always ready for that conversation.
No.
So my question for that is, how do you have that conversation? Or how do you put yourself around people that's willing to have that conversation, I should ask?
Man, that's one thing I still kind of struggle with. And that's why I was so happy when you reached out, man. Because like I said, we haven't talked in a while, but we had that same mindset. We're on the same plane as far as we both had a goal and a vision that we were trying to attain. So I was like, yeah, bro, I'm definitely, I'd love to hop on, man. It's an honor. But to answer your question, I feel like that in order to, let me see what I was going to say. Man, I just got a brain fart.
That's cool. I have more of the time.
But Shoot, what was I'm tripping. What was your question?
Oh no, it was just asking, how do you have that conversation of basically being innovative and everything?
Man, so for me, I had to, for one, I still battle with that now. Like I said, putting myself around the right people, but I'm putting myself out there. I'm trying to get outside my comfort zone. Like I recently had the idea that I'm gonna do is start a meetup for younger, not even younger, just newer entrepreneurs, just entrepreneurs in general that want to come together, have like a accountability group, just even like in a social setting, just hang out with entrepreneurs to where, because for us, the conversation isn't always the same as other. Like for me, I don't watch sports like that anymore. Like I play baseball, but I don't really watch it. So
facts.
For me to go to a bar and kind of meet up with some of my boys, and it's like, I can't really have the same conversation. I don't watch basketball. I don't really know what y'all talking about. So it's like, for me, I want to talk about business. And it's not even from a standpoint of, let's business, but just, yeah, man, I got this business idea, or I got this idea, or I got this podcast idea. You can't even really have that same enthusiasm reciprocated, right? Because they don't understand that. So for me, something I'm trying to do now is, like I said, just always think of ways to put myself out there, to meet new people, to put myself in a conversation with other entrepreneurs. So for me, that just trying to start a meetup. So that's kind of like one of my next things I'm going to do is, and that's the plan too with the podcast. It's going to all kind of encapsulate under the same thing where the people from the podcast, we can all kind of meet up in person, and people that listen and just network with other like-minded individuals.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I would just say constantly trying to think of ways to push yourself to the limit. Like for me, I want to, like, I'm not a social person per se. I'm like a quote unquote introvert. So for me, this year, I'm very intentional about going out more, just speaking to strangers, trying to get to know random people. But because you never know what can come from those conversations. I could meet a CEO or just another cool person that I can have those type of conversations with. So for me, it's just trying to get out my comfort zone and try new things, man.
Yeah. See, from those type of conversations, that's how I develop, as what I call it, a royal mindset or my millionaire mindset.
Yeah.
Because before, like we said, you really don't have nobody to talk to. Like you said, it was, when we first started, it was kind of like me, you, and then our other guy, Tony.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, when we all started growing in our own directions, it's like, dang, who do I talk to now?
All right, because now we are in our own lanes again, right?
Yeah.
In the same aspect where we can still connect and talk to each other, but now, all right, well, who do we talk to in our respective industries now? So now we got to redo everything, re-network. So yeah, man.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, even with that, man, whatever you need from me, I'm willing to help you with the startup.
Bro.
I mean, the meetup, because for the simple fact, that's legit what we needed when we first started. And how far would we have been if we would have had that? I mean, we great now.
We still where we need to be at, but it's like, how much faster could we have gotten here?
It would have been an Excel.
Yep.
Like it would have been speeding straight through.
Absolutely.
But it was one thing that you keep hitting on, and I just want you to go a little bit deeper into it. Because I don't want to, I want to end this thing and you don't never get to talk about it. And I keep hearing you say it. Being intentional. Being intentional. Speak on that just speak on it in general. Like even if it's about in the entrepreneurial lane or even just in your lifestyle, period.
I'm glad you said lifestyle because I want to hit it from both aspects just because in this last year, probably a year and a half, really since COVID, we've all been in a house, kind of having to sit with ourselves and be more in our minds, more in our heads about ourselves. So I've realized a lot. And even I've been, well, I could say this, man. I've hit a depression when COVID kind of started. I had kind of started dealing with depression as far as feeling down and couldn't really move because I just felt like I was just kind of stuck. Like my mind, I wasn't thinking real positive. Anybody who knows me, I'm kind of a optimistic person, and I'm always trying to talk about good positive things. But it's like I was starting to feel negative and sad and depressed, and I ended up losing my best friend last summer, and then that on top of everything, it was a big snowball effect. And at that point, man, I was like, all right, something has to change. Because for me, I was starting to for one, just not feel like I was where I needed to be at. I was like, all right, well, I'm stuck now. feeling bad. I'm feeling bad about feeling bad. It's like, all right, something's got to change. And then my guy Percy, he's actually here in Michigan too. I mean, in Flint. He has a podcast and a movement called Share the Keys. And he is what sparked the mindset of intentional for me, because I still watch his videos, but he would talk about being intentional. And I've heard that before and a lot. And it's like, okay. But I just didn't really think about it and what that truly meant to be intentional, what the results get. And I'm like, okay. So I'm feeling like this every day. I'm feeling like crap. All right. I got to think of something, man. I got to think of something. I came about this book called The Miracle Morning. And it's basically about creating this routine in the morning to get yourself like physically in the right spot, emotionally in the right spot, and mentally in the right spot. And that's what formulated my routine now is in the morning is reading that book. And I learned that through, taking the steps to actually act on that morning routine, which can be considered being intentional. Yeah. I figured out that, all right, now I feel better. I feel a lot better. Like I'm not feeling down. I'm not feeling stuck. I feel like I have the motivation to get up now and actually work harder. And it was like, yo, okay. That's my first taste of being intentional about feeling better. I had to be intentional about finding a way to get better. I had to be intentional about the steps I took to get better. Because for one, it's one thing to say, I want to feel better. I want to start doing things to make me feel better, exercise and stuff like that. But if you don't specifically look for the areas that you want to work on, you kind of can gloss over them or not really heal, or I don't know the correct word, but not really attend to it like you need to. So for me, it was like, all right, well, if I want to look better physically, then I got to be intentional about that. Well, what does that mean? Oh, I got to start going to the gym because I want the direct result of physically being fit or looking better. But the intention is going to the gym for that. So I learned that, man, where it's like, whatever it is whatever area you're trying to work on, if you have anger issues or like I said, you're feeling down or you want to learn something new or get into something, maybe somebody wants to be an entrepreneur. You got to be intentional about the steps to get there though. So that means I'm taking the steps necessary. I'm reading. I'm trying to talk to people. I'm trying to meet new people because you're being intentional about that new area that you're trying to learn. So if you're trying to be better at managing your anger, you got to read books to intentionally find ways to manage that better or steps to start to feel better in that realm of your life. So I feel like whatever it is, man, you have to intentionally attack it. I'm not sure if that answers what the question, but I hope people understand that if the main thing is you can't expect the result without the work for it. And you have to know what that work is in order to get that result. That's the only way that you'll see it, man. So it was somewhere else I wanted to go with that too, because it kind of hit in the same realm.
Man, talk that talk.
It kind of hit the same realm as far as, let's see, I was saying intentional. Oh man, and this can be life in general, right? Where and I've learned this too in that same thing of being intentional. And it kind of made me see it, right? Where I want to be, let's say, quote unquote mogul, right? And my name was on Instagram, CJ the Mogul. Yeah, you like that?
Oh yeah, I do.
I was thinking, man, I'm going through and I'm figuring out, man, this is taking a long time, or things just not panning out like how I want it to go. And it's like, why is it taking so long? It's because I had an idea but no plan. You got to have a plan. That's a part of being intentional. You will not get any result without the plan. But also, you see the result. You got to know what that plan entails. That plan entails a process. The process ain't always pretty.
The process never pretty.
The process will have you on your knees begging, like, please take it easy. You feel me? So it's like
the process will have your stomach touching your back.
Yeah, how you ready to quit, man. So a part of being intentional and just knowing that you have a goal, right? You have to know what that goal requires. And I'm not talking about, I got to go out and talk to new people. Yeah, that's part of it. But that's that's the easy part. That's not the part that's gonna make you want to quit. That's that's doable. But you have to really tell yourself, all right, well, if I want to, let's say wholesaling, for instance, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I want to do 10 deals a month, I probably got to call about 500 people. I probably got cold call 500 people. But that's still the easy part. The hard part is the 300 rejections that you get that get you in your feelings, that make you feel like, am I doing this right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's that part that you have to sign up for. All right, I'm signing up to get rejected by 300 people. Once you realize that mindset of, all right, well, what am I going to have to do in order to get there? And am I willing to sacrifice that? Then you are now on the right path. And now you're expecting those trials. And it's almost like a reward once you get past them, because I saw that coming, but I was ready for it. Now I'm past it. So the expectation of the result isn't as bad, because now I got to go through this. I got to go through this. I'm going to earn it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that. I see it. It's a lot harder when you don't know that. You don't know what you're signing up for. So I think us as people, we a lot of times sign up for things and don't know we're going to have to sacrifice. So I think that's a part of being intentional, is knowing what you're sacrificing and being okay with that. So
I got you.
Because you got to be real with yourself, right? It's like, if I want this, am I willing to sacrifice that? If not, pick something else. But
pick something else.
You got to be real enough with yourself to know whether you willing to do that or not, because that is going to measure whether or not you get the result you're looking for.
Yeah.
So,
man.
Man.
Listen, you finna put me in my real estate bag, because when you said you got to call 500 people, listen to me, I didn't call 1,000 people.
I believe you.
Only got 100 yeses. And then those 100 yeses turned to only like 50 actual people that would like actually go through with a transaction.
Yeah. Yep.
And that, like you said, that's that part of the game where it's like when it starts to rub you and it's a little discomfort, it's like, man, am I going to stand tall or am I going to fold?
Exactly. Yep. That's what you got to decide too. So absolutely, man. I just feel like we have to know what we're signing up for.
Yeah.
So with me, even creating the routine I have, it's like, all right, well, I want to be fit. But do I realize when I get tired, when I'm lifting that dumbbell, whether am I going to do the last 2 sets or am I going to quit? If I'm going to quit, then I might as well stay at home, because I'm not going to get the result. I'm just doing it to go through the motions. But I'm going to accept the battle of, all right, I'm going to be tired, but I'm going to have to fight through it. So, I just think that's a mindset we all have to adapt to get anything we want, whether it's, a successful marriage or, good in school and successful business. You're going to have things that are going to get in your way, but you have to know that you're signing up for that. So, be ready for whatever, man.
Man. Listen, I hope y'all got y'all pens and y'all pads ready, because this man done dropped y'all some jewels today. Like, I don't know if y'all been catching them, but I didn't caught each and every one. Like,
I appreciate it.
When you said be intentional, I'm like, hold on, let me check my Palm Pilot. Have I been intentional this month? Because I know I got a couple of things I got to sharpen up on. So I appreciate that gem right there.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you for having me, bro.
Oh, man, it ain't no problem at all. Well, I was going to say this, that part that I, hate doing. But I got one last question for you to wrap all this up.
Yeah.
So with everything you done expounded on with us today, all the gems you done gave us, all the information you done dropped for us, if it was one piece of, not even one piece, if it was one gem that you could drop to the people about success or how to become like more successful within their life, what would you say it would be?
Man, probably push yourself past the limit. The moment you think you want to quit, just promise yourself you'll go a little bit further. And then just see where you at. Because I promise at that point, man, you start to realize you have a lot more tolerance for things that you didn't even know. Like, I can go a little bit harder, or I can do this. And at that point, you start to have more confidence. You start to attack things more confidently, and you start to conquer more things, because now it's new doors open. It's new possibilities. It's new heights that you can go to. So if anything, I would just say push yourself as much as possible. Always challenge yourself. Whether, man, it's so stupid. I get to the point where it's like, let's see. It's like, I'll even be folding towels. Oh, I'm tired at 10. All right, forget it. Let me make myself do 12. But it's that very intentional act, though, where you have to apply it everywhere. It's not only pick and choose. If you want it everywhere, you got to do it everywhere. So I would just say, man, intentionally and cognitively, intentionally think about it and push ourselves to the limit whenever we can. Because at that, we like I said, we explore new parts of ourselves. We get to know each other, and we reach new heights. So,
man, pushing yourself to the limit gonna get you 1,000 units.
Hey, man, I hope so, bro. I hope so, man.
Oh, yeah. Well, man, listen to me. I appreciate you for coming and sitting down with me today and just dropping these gems to these people, man. Like, you went crazy. Like, that's why I just sit back and chill. Like, hey, this is my favorite part of the podcast.
Man, I hope somebody got something that they could take away, man, or apply or try out. You know, just try it on. I've heard that somewhere. I forgot where I heard it from, but man, just try it on.
Yeah.
You know, just if you don't like it, throw it away. But if you do, hopefully it changes you or your life or your trajectory or your journey, or helps or make it a bit easier or better. So just try it on, man.
Man, well, go ahead and let the people know how they can connect with you and also how to get in touch with you if they need an Airbnb or anything.
So y'all can actually on Instagram is probably the best way to follow me in my journey. It's CJ_the mogul on Instagram.
Yes, sir.
CJ Hall on Facebook. Not really on anything else yet, but TikTok is coming soon. So that's gonna be CJ the Mogul, all one thing. But yeah, man, then my company is Modern Day Stay. You can check us out at www.moderndaystay.com. Yeah, that's where all our units are. And that's how y'all can hit me up, man. So
yeah. Oh, you was finna walk away. What about the podcast?
Podcast is coming too. Those are right now just on my Instagram. So y'all definitely want to check me out on Instagram. I got about 3 episodes up. One actually I'm gonna go home and work on now. Getting that uploaded. So that's the Legacy Talk podcast. Kind of talk about how to create a legacy, how to become the person that you need to be to create the legacy. Again, being intentional, right? So, and then I'm gonna interview other like-minded people, man, and kind of interview them and see how they got to their legacy, how they're building their legacy. So, again, it's just another way to bring value to the people who we can somehow help them along their way, man. So,
man, I'm tuning in for sure.
And you're going to be on there for sure, bro. We're going to get you on there, man. So
I appreciate it.
I appreciate the opportunity, bro.
Man, well, once again, you guys, this has been another episode of the Royal Minds podcast with your guy, Mr. Royal Minds, and my man CJ on here with me today.
Guy.
Please, man, like, share, subscribe, and come back for more, man. Just come kick it with us.
Sir.